So, in this update, they've actually decided to change the engineer, and in change, I mean they actually have buffed the engineer for some reason. Right, so we get the boomer out and let the engineer deal 16 damage to it. Okay, so do that real quick. Right, so what has changed is that the Sentry can now actually apparently deal damage to lead enemies. Okay, no, so the engineer has always had lead detection at level 0. But the Sentry has never had lead detection at any level, except now all Sentries now have lead detection. So the engineer, for some reason, has gotten a buff. Well, the Sentries have gotten a buff. The engineer hasn't. But the engineer has become a more powerful hardcore tower because it deals with lead pretty well now. Actually, I mean, sure. Hiddens are still kind of a weakness because only the tower itself can deal with it, and I mean, yeah, the flying detection is still a weakness because only the tower can still see flyings, not the tower, the Sentries itself. But it is still it's still kind of cool that the Sentries can damage leads. Right, another change that they've made in this update without actually telling us is that the Molten Warlord has had its health regeneration changed. So in this update, the health regeneration ability it's actually changed. Its base health, there's a ability that it used to have where, well, it still has it, where its health regeneration ability used to increase its health by 5,000. Well, it's actually increased from 5,000 to 10,000. However, it's kind of weird. It's by at least 10,000 base health. Seems to be some minor increases after that. Menton has tested it, so here he seems to have tested it, and then it's some minor increases after that. He doesn't know where the sources of additional health is coming from. Maybe it's like a damage from other stuff. He just doesn't know where it's coming from. Dealing damage, not dealing damage, current health, and none of them seem to matter. So yeah, he doesn't know where it comes from. Right, so some other things that they've changed. In Sandbox mode, there used to be some certain maps here. So in the special maps, not special maps, in some hard or insane maps, there used to be some event maps. I think they were not Rotfield. They were Tower Outskirts. There were and Cold Ambush. They would appear here next to Rotfield, but they were broken. So Tower Outskirts was just a broken terrain, while Cold Ambush didn't work at all. None of like the enemies spawned in, even if you tried to spawn some in. So instead of trying to fix that, they removed the maps. However, Rotfield, so that's the map here, Headache Headquarters and like Badlands, these are the exclusive maps which you can't play in the game anymore. They're still in the game, so it's not about like the maps being exclusive that you can't play them anymore. No, it's just the maps being broken. Maybe the developers will re-add them in the future once they do fix it, but as for now, you can't play them. Also, for some reason, tutorial mode just has an infinite loading icon, but you can still play it. I mean, if you really wanted to. Also, it wasn't done in v1.49.0, it was done in v1.48 for some reason. Additionally, if you go into hardcore mode, some of the icons that used to appear in the bottom right corner, so the hardcore HP lot appears now. However, the other modifiers, such as the Talk Like a Pirate Day modifier that appears for Black Spot Exchange, so this map, that still doesn't appear despite the enemies spawning in with the pirate hats and the enemies beta abnormals spawning in. That's Space City. I didn't mean that. They also fixed some modifiers. So for example, the Lost Soul modifiers now kind of actually works. It's now applies, but you still can't get the Lost Souls modifier badge. Now this video has been recorded before the Pizza Party rework occurs, but it's being released after Pizza Party's rework, so that will probably be fixed. So, like, right now, you can't get the Lost Souls badge, but after this update, you'll probably get it, be able to get it at least. Additionally, in Sandbox mode, I do believe they fixed a whole load of modifiers that were glitched. So, for example, I believe the April Fool's 2022 modifiers, so like the translated modifier they fixed, so that it now actually spews out the gibberish furry talk commander stuff that appears for like the tips. So if we were to go into April, no, this is the modifier that randomizes everything, right? So I can't actually find the modifier that that changes everything into furry talk, but I think the April 22 modifier just randomizes all the animations. Yeah, so this one now actually works. Okay, so the April 22 modifier actually now works. Very cool. So if I were to spawn in an enemy, would it have a random animation? Okay, so it doesn't have a random animation. Okay, it kind of sort of works. Okay, fair enough. Additionally, if you activate the Lost Souls modifier in the modifier section in Sandbox mode, it does change the saturation of the map, and it also does play the Lost Souls music. Additionally, if you activate the brain rot, the brain rot message does appear, and the music track does change to Skibbity if you really want it to. I mean, it does, but without choice. But yeah, I mean, it changes it now. I mean, I probably have mentioned it, but Operation Ice has ended, so multiple enemies do appear in the Sandbox mode only if you got it from the event. So yeah, so that includes I think the Siege Engine. So I don't have the Siege Engine here, but I do have the Frost Spirit. So as you can see here, Frost Spirit I can spawn in, but not the Siege Engine because I didn't get that in time because I only killed 4 of them, so not the 20 guaranteed. However, you can still get the Operation Battle Pass for 3 weeks. They still haven't put out the increased Battle Pass rewards, given that the event or the Battle Pass lasts for quite a while. Also, for some reason, my animation is broken. I assume this is Roblox's fault. It's not Tower Defense Simulator developers' fault. But yeah, this is weird. A fix they made in V1.49.1 is the firework technician was impossible to place, though when a tower is placed after the firework technician is sold in its range and then the firework technician is sold, the tower will not be able to be sold. It will be unable to be placed down and it will be removed from the tower counter, but it will still block placement and still provide buffs to towers. Furthermore, a buff that they made to all explosive enemies is that all explosive enemies can now bypass defense. That includes the Demo Man, Rocketeer, Ranger, Pursuit, and Mortar. So these towers, can now bypass defense with their explosion. I assume in the case of the Ranger, it's only the explosion that can bypass defense, not the main damage. So the 1050, that can't bypass defense, but the 150, that can bypass defense. So pretty good buff for explosive towers, and especially for the Mortar, since that was buffed recently as well, and the Rocketeer as well. Furthermore, they fixed the Archer having invisible flames while burning enemies. I also forgot to mention, for some reason, I don't know how, that the Archer is on sale for 599 Robux. I kind of predicted that this would be on the low end of the spectrum for the Archer Tower. I'm surprised that's actually this low. I would thought it would be 699 Robux, but 599 Robux is what I thought it would be around. Interestingly, the Sledger is still on sale, so is the Elementalist and Snowballer, so I think the Archer would be on sale for quite a while now. The Mortar, surprisingly, is still on sale for 395 Robux, even though with the buff, I would have thought they might have sneakily increased the price. But no, 395 Robux, being cheaper than the turret, which I'm surprised about. Again, I would have thought that the Mortar would increase in price to be more expensive than the turrets, again, for like, I don't know, 495 Robux, but fair enough. And in terms of shadow updates from January, I think that's it. Now, this is being recorded before the 22nd of January update, so things might have changed. Some of the things I mentioned in this video probably would be fixed, maybe, perhaps, we don't know. But like the engineers Sentry led thing, developers might have reversed that change, but we'll see. We'll have to see. But in the past, as you see this video.